always be advertising and marketing, whether you think you need it or not. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello, and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer, and today I want to talk about marketing, advertising, getting yourself out there. And look, I've been really bad at this over the years. I don't advertise this podcast very much. I do the podcast, which is good, right? That's getting myself out there, but I don't really advertise it. I don't push it. I don't promote it. It really in any way other than it's just there, right? And so I do a bad job at that. I can remember when I first started in the business, first started doing real estate. I was flipping houses. I was buying single families, duplexes, triplexes, and so on for rentals. And people would ask me what I do. And I would say, oh, I'm a real estate investor. And a lot of people go, oh, you're a realtor, and talk about me being a realtor. And I would just kind of go along with it. I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I didn't want to talk about what I did. I felt almost like I was being, I was bragging about myself. I was being arrogant if I was talking about what I did. So I just wouldn't. And when people would say I'm a realtor, I'd be like, yeah, that works. Right. And I wouldn't correct them. I wouldn't say, no, I'm a real estate investor. I buy flip houses. I own a rental portfolio. I wouldn't tell them that because I just didn't feel like it was necessary. And what's bad about that is I have always taken passive investors, even when I was doing flips and buying these rental houses, I always took passive investors. So there's people that benefited from what I did. Right. And I always was looking for new houses. Right. And so there was people that benefited from me buying their properties, but yet I didn't put myself out there. So I wasn't able to positively affect the people that I wasn't telling. Right. Because if they knew somebody that was looking to invest, maybe they were looking to invest themselves. I wasn't telling them. If they had a house that was distressed, they knew somebody that had a house that was distressed, that needed to be purchased, they had a good opportunity, whatever it might be, I wasn't putting myself out there. And so they didn't know about it. I was getting my houses just through the MLS. I was finding my investors through people, referring other people to me, or just basically almost lucked upon it. So that was bad. And just recently, so I own a construction company. Most of you probably don't know that. If you've been listening to my podcast, I've been doing this podcast since 2017. If you've been listening to this podcast, you maybe have never heard me talk about owning a construction business. I own a construction business, Cretan Construction. We do remodeling, and it's mainly for my own properties, right? We still own a bunch of single family homes. We own apartment buildings. So that's really what it was set up for. It was set up for because when I was flipping a ton of houses and own all these rentals, I needed a construction company. So that's what I set it up for. I've got my contractor's license, so on. But I also do third party work. Not a lot. It's not my niche. And part of the reason why I don't do a lot is because I don't advertise. I don't market. I don't put myself out there at all. Now, part of that is by design because I don't want to be distracted doing it. But also the other part is I've never wanted to, I don't know. I just, again, it's kind of that being shy about it, I guess, and not realizing that you could help a lot of people out. And how easy would it be for me to hire somebody to sell and to advertise and to market, hire somebody to manage the jobs, hire a CEO of the construction company or president or whatever, and run that side of the business and be successful at it. Look, we get prices, things done for a pretty good price. I could provide an excellent service. Recently, my business partner, Drew, he knows that I have my contractor's license. He didn't really understand that I would go and do work. He did a big kitchen remodel. I could have got that done for him for a lot less. He replaced his roof and siding on his house. That's what we specialize in, roof and siding. I didn't do that work. He hired somebody else to do that work. I could have saved him thousands of dollars on that project. I could have got the job done a lot quicker and with just as high of quality, if not better. Yet he didn't hire me because he didn't really know that I did that. Now, is that his fault or mine? That's mine, right? It's my fault because I didn't tell him, I didn't advertise, I didn't put it out there that we've got a construction company that does work. Right. The other thing, the main thing that I do, of course, is multifamily or commercial real estate syndication. Okay. So these syndications, we are taking passive money. And I've done a decent job at that. I would say the best job at that, but I still don't put myself out there nearly enough into what we do. I educate a lot. I talk a lot about real estate, but I don't talk a lot about us as a company, Endurus Capital, what we're doing, why it would be a benefit for people to invest passively with us in particular, right? I talk about why it's valuable to invest passively, but then I don't promote myself. You know, it was at my own conference that I was hosting a couple of years ago. Somebody came up to me, they thanked me for the conference, all this kind of stuff, and they had no clue who I was and what I did. They just thought I was a conference guy. They didn't know it was truly my conference that I was running. They didn't know and understand that I had a company that was raising capital for multifamily deals. And that's what they wanted to do, is invest in some multifamily deals. So they were talking with some of the other speakers, which is great. I brought those speakers on because they're reputable people and I really like them. But I did not provide enough marketing for myself, advertising for them to know what I did. So get out there and do it. Don't make the same mistakes that I've made throughout the years and continue to make, quite frankly. And part of it, again, is just me being like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be that person that's always telling you what I do and to where you don't want to be around me, right? But at the same time, there's a tactful way to do it. And the successful salespeople, the successful capital raisers, the successful business people do it in a tactful way. And the thing that I have to remember, and you have to remember, is you are providing a value, a service, something that people want, a product, whatever it is that people want, that people need, that's going to help them out. Sometimes they don't even know they want it or need it, but it's going to help them out, right? And your job is to make sure that they understand the product, the service that you have, so they can take advantage of that product or service if it's something that fits their life at that particular moment. And so for me, for passive investing, look, most people want to own real estate. Okay. Most people have a W-2 job. They just do. And a lot of those people that have a W-2 job are better off staying in their W-2 job. Most of them probably like their W-2 job, or at least tolerate it to a point where they're not ready to quit. Going out and buying a duplex, for the most part, for most of those people, it just doesn't make sense. If they go, hey, well, how much free time do I have in a year? And really look at that and go, how much of that free time is this duplex or these 5 duplexes going to take? And is it worth it? The answer, probably 95% of the people out there, is no. It's not worth buying that duplex, spending that time and effort on that duplex, when you could just spend a little bit more time at work or enjoy your family and build relationships and friendships and do that type of stuff. So invest passively, right? And so just put it out there and make sure people understand what you do. Make sure that people understand why it's of benefit to them. And you can do it in a way that's not pushing it down their throats, right? You can do it in a way that's educating them, that's showing them what you have, that's providing a value. The best time to market and advertise is when you don't need to sell, right? When you don't need to get that whatever. So for me, for capital raising, the best time for me to advertise is when I'm not actively raising on a deal, right? Or when I'm actively raising on a deal, but I already know I got it filled up. The best time for me, or the worst time for me, is if I need the money, right? If I have to raise $10 million and I need that money, that's the worst time for me to go out there and ask for that money. I want to have already done the groundwork. So where when I have that deal, when I need to raise $10 million, I can just go to my investor list and go, here's the opportunity. Are you interested or you're not? And I'm not worried if they say no. I'm not worried if they say not at this time. Because I've done my homework and I've done my groundwork and I'm ready to go. And so it doesn't bother me when people say no. That's always the goal, is when somebody says, nah, that's not for me, you go, perfect. If it is for somebody else, love the referral. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. And we don't want to push somebody. That's the best place to be. So always be advertising and marketing, whether you think you need it or not. Look, I buy multifamily properties. We buy value add properties. We bought a retail strip mall 2022. We bought industrial 2021. We've bought some assisted living. We buy value add real estate, commercial real estate. If you know of anybody looking to sell, especially an apartment building, 100 plus unit apartment building, we're looking to buy, right? And so let us know. If you know somebody looking to invest in real estate, whether they want to invest actively, buy a duplex or passively, send them over to me. I'd love a referral. Maybe I can talk them out for making that bad mistake and buying the duplex. But for you, always be putting yourself out there. It's easy to not do. It's easy to not do. At least for me, it is. And I'm sure for many of you it is. But it's important to do it. And it's important to do it in a tactful way, in a way that is providing value to other people, right? It's truly of benefit to them. And those who it's of benefit are going to be attracted to it. Those who it's not of benefit are just going to not see it. They're just going to ignore it. And if you're doing it right, it doesn't feel pushy, right? It doesn't feel like you're doing anything wrong. You're educating people. And even a lot of the people that aren't interested are still listening to you, right? And they're not offended by what you're saying. All right. Well, that's all for this show. You have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day a Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.